in my back pocket for a while. You know, I think I'd written it 5 years prior to us recording it. It was a song. When I wrote it, I was kind of in a situation where I was, you know, aspiring to be in a relationship, but it was just not the right time. So it was kind of one of those, you know, we'll wait. You know, wait till it is the right time, but there never is a right time to wait for, you know? So it seemed like for me, the angle that I was coming from was the harder I try to make this the right time or move in the right direction, it seems like it gets further and further away, or there's a new obstacle that comes. So there's kind of me
like
going
chasing the sunset.
Exactly, yeah. So it's going through that process of...
That's really interesting to me from the standpoint of, like, if you think of a sunset, you think of a closure, but you're chasing the beginning. That's
where chasing the sun is a phrase that comes from, like, it's like an aeronautics term.
Okay.
Something, so whenever planes are flying west, it's called chasing the sun because their day extends, because as they keep going, so does the sun, so it just seems like it never ends. And so I actually allude to that kind of in the second verse of the song. I say, I'm falling behind, but to what resolution? Because you've been the light to all I see. So that's saying things are coming to a close, but then it's kind of hopeful when I say, but maybe in time and full revolution, you'll be the one chasing after me.
I like that a lot.
Which is exactly how it ended up panning out 5 years later. So
that's really... Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
The farther we get and the farther I chase this, it seems like new obstacles come, and it's just something, that carrot that's hanging in front of my head, you know. The hotter the gun things, you know. It's so intense, but not want it to be a flash in the pan type situation. But
Is this typical for songwriting for you?
It's very typical for me to go without a second verse for a long time.
Yeah.
There's songs that I've been performing with the band that we've been performing in for years, and I don't have second verses to them, and I just make it up.
Like on stage, you're just making it up?
Yeah, just make it up.
That's awesome.
On the spot.
You're literally singing just whatever. You're freestyling on stage.
Right.
I love it. That's awesome.
And you know, there's been times where I've kind of figured out and settled on verses from doing that, been like, I really like what I did.
So it's almost like the pressure of being on stage helps you find your creativity for it.
Yeah, and really my writing process kind of comes, you know, normally I'll kind of just have a melody in my head, including this one. I just have a melody in my head. I pull out my phone, do the voice memo type thing, and I'll sit there and I'll find music to it. I'll compose the song without, you know, a real vision of what's going on, and then I'll just mumble through the melodies while I'm finding them. Again, voice record, stuff like that, and I'll listen back and I'll be like, it really sounds like I'm saying, you know, could it be you're the one? I'm chasing after the sun. And I realized that I was kind of, it sounds cheesy, but it seems like my heart was writing it before my head was like catching on to what I was trying to say.
It's almost like you're following your instinct.
Yeah.
And your instinct is like leading you to a song that's almost already there.
Right, yeah.
It's
actually, it's like fishing for words, you know?
One thing that is cool about our sessions is, generally speaking, even if it's like something that you don't necessarily play, like you would, I don't know if you'd call yourself a drummer, but you have the rhythm in your head, and then you'll walk the session drummer, whoever happens to be there, you'll walk them through exactly, and it's usually pretty specific what you're hearing.
Yeah.
You want to talk, that's kind of unique to our sessions.
Yeah, I think that's, it's kind of what you're talking about, being subtractive, but more so in the, for the sake of getting out of the way of the song. So I'm not a trained musician. I just kind of play by ear and, like I said, kind of feel the songs and feel like I'm just catching a song that's already there. And so I do a lot of the writing of the parts, even if they're the parts that I don't play on the record or live. So specifically the drums, I like it. I don't want them to be in the way. I want them to be something that you're kind of feeling that's you're not really even noticing, but it's kind of...
Like your heartbeat.
Yeah, almost. It's like giving you the pulse. It's making you feel something. So for every song I've ever recorded, including this one, I've, you know, explained what I want from the drums, which normally ends up in some terrible beatboxing, you know, but something specific, or I'll like sit down and try and play it and be like, okay, you see what I didn't do a good job of?
Yeah.
Make that sound pretty.
Yeah.
But every time I've recorded a song, I've ended up the best track. I have to go and dance
in front of
the drummer while the song's going. I have to have headphones and dance so they can just see, like, I want you to be making me
moving this way.
Yeah, moving this way. Nothing. I don't want to pay attention to you, but I want you to make, cause this reaction from me, which is really cool.
That is cool.
To like kind of come backwards.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's like instead of interpretive dancing, it's interpretive playing.
Right.
Off of somebody's dancing.
Yeah.
I just remember there was a little bit of a weird way that we came into the rhythm on this song.
Yeah.
Were you finding it for a while? Like you didn't have a clear.
Yeah, drums. I feel like were the most complicated part
to this song. I would say on my side as well, but I'll get into that. But yeah.
Because I wanted to have that produced sound.
Yeah.
But felt like it needed the live kit to really, push it like it needs to be pushed.
Yeah.
And so I had, we laid down the beginning tracks and I'd sent it to drummers all over. I'd sent it to drummers in Nashville. I'd sent it to my cousin who's a professional drummer. All these people, and they're all sending things back, and I was like, this is just not right, And we've played it live, but the recording does have a little bit different,
feel,
more intimate feel, kind of, than the live performance. So it's kind of hard to capture exactly what we wanted. And I ended up just sending it to my friend who was in a band with me back when we were, kids. Basically,
Austin?
Yeah,
Austin did a great job.
Austin, yeah, he did do a great job. He's the only one that was really able to do it. Even to this day, live performers, people playing with me, can't quite catch that.
Yeah,
that catch that happens.
Yeah. It's kind of a signature part of that drum sound.
It is, yeah, and it's crucial to get the, because like I said, it's more intimate in the verses, so it's crucial.
Yeah, let me I know, like, right now, I think there's some stuff on... Let's see if I can maybe... I'm trying to think of the best way to play this for us. It's got a bunch of processing on it, so I think we'll still get the feel for it. But, like, there's some delay throws and stuff in there right now that you're going to be like, what? You might not even have noticed. But...
So that dance sounds like something like...
It's like it goes... And the way it opens and closes before and after the snare, it's pretty intricate with the hats, actually.
Yeah, it was... that was actually... It's bringing back the memory of like how we really came to it, because the part that comes after the chorus, is that what you just played?
That's... that's leading right into that. Yeah.
Those guitar jabs.
All those little things we added. Yeah.
So it's actually the exact same drum part as the chorus. And that's what these, drummers weren't able to register. So me and Austin sat down and I was like, we were trying to come up with what was different about it, and there really wasn't. We finally came to the fact that, like, you just play what you were playing
and we'll make
on the chorus
things.
And let me put my foot on the hi-hat. And I'm going to open and close it when it should. And he was like, all right. So he just played drums like normal, but I was doing the hi-hat, open and closing in that weird timing. And so he had to sit there. We, again, voice recorded it on the phone. He had to just listen to it for days. I was like, we're recording this next week.
From an engineering standpoint, it presented some interesting dilemmas because it was a very mono sound. Essentially, we had the kick drum, the snare, and the hats. And there was a crash, but everything, it wasn't like a wide stereo image, but we knew, because we had talked about it, we knew this needed to feel big. And so that's one of the reasons for the snare going, because you don't hear it in the track, but when you solo it, you hear it. But the idea is like, how can we make this sound get wider? So actually, there's some programmed hats on the left and right. You remember when we did those? It's like, and so those are like a part of the drum sound. So the drum sound in the song is, I'm really proud of how we did it, because like, to be honest, if you have any of those elements without the other elements, it all falls apart like a train wreck. But with all of it together, it's got a really cool vibe that, I almost can't envision it without all of those things now. Like,
and
that's how we got that sound.
And I feel like that's kind of something that we had to find or kind of chase, because it's not something that we ever would have come up with as like, I want to have this effect on the song. We never would have said, okay, well, let's do it the way we did it. It's something that we had to kind of chase and fall into.
I feel like we had risers before we even had the kit. Do you remember those?
I don't.
They're like, they come in at the beginning.
Yeah, we did, just because those are like the big hits,
There's a bunch of
the
those.
drops.
And I remember making those, like automating the different things. It was a lot of fun. I feel like I may have spent too much time on those. That was a lot of fun. They like that, but you take those away. I should have played them with the drums, and you lose it without it. Like you do lose some of the drums.
Yeah.
It helps give it the...
It just kind of guides you.
Yeah. Helps you give it sort of like a swing into the... Because the rhythm itself is pretty straight other than the hi-hats. Opening and closing. But yeah. It's the culmination, man. You really can't take any of the percussive elements out almost, which is cool. I think it's a good sign that we did it. So talk to me about the guitar riff. Did you write the...
Yeah, basically, like I said, a lot of the parts I write just so that it's not too busy. But actually, that part was kind of a culmination. So when I wrote this song, I was actually in a band called Atkins and Beasley. But we were just kind of like that's the band that Austin was in.
Okay, cool.
And so he was familiar with the song, but by the time he came in, he was like, this is a different song than we were playing.
Yeah.
But, so there's a guy named Carson Bramer who was playing guitar with us then, and that lead part was more of a conversation between the two of us. So, he would do something, and
His tones were killer.
Yeah, so all I could do at that point was to, like, sing the part that I wanted, or be like, I like this shape, I like this diamond, like...
Yeah, that happens a lot in our sessions.
Yeah.
You do a lot of interesting vocal things,
Right.
which... There's no other way to get the idea out there, and then we run with it. It's cool. There's a lot of atmosphere going on underneath everything, sort of setting the stage for it. Let's see. Okay, we've got a bunch of vocal samples. Was that weird when you first heard your voice come back sampled on this record?
Yeah, it was weird and awesome. I remember we were kind of, again, chasing ideas of things that we wanted to have, and I was like, I really want this, like, it's kind of this kind of alternative rock song, but I want the production of the song to be pop, almost hip hop.
Yeah.
And so I remember we were laying down the vocals on that first night and, wrapping up the session. I was leaving and I just kind of like popped my head back in. I said, hey, my little ooze that I do, can you like make that sound like a chipmunk? Just like throw that up some octaves and, like throw some auto-tune on there and stuff. And you're like, I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Came back and you had just nailed it. You had just like totally exceeded all my expectations. It was perfect, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
So it was weird, but because that's the first time I'd ever heard
Chipmunk Jake.
Yeah. But it was awesome. Exactly what I was looking for.
It was a lot of fun. I just took your vocal part and played it back like a keyboard.
Yeah. And I have so many people who are like, man, I can't believe you can hit those notes. And I'm like...
You're like, bet.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yep, I got that. The way you layer your vocals is pretty interesting to me. At the time when we started production on this, the whole like vocal synth type sound was starting to really come to fruition and be really popular, I think. You were getting that sound by layering your vocals.
Right.
Without using software, which is really cool. And we could pull that up, like, let's see. I feel like
maybe up, maybe not.
Even, let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Like this part, I remember hearing it and going, oh, I know exactly where you're wanting to go production-wise because you made that sound without software even. It's just harmonies, but it's also...
It's like a drone.
A vocoder.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Do you do that stuff live with BGV stuff? What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we do. Brent, our bass player, does a lot of the background vocals, and again, that's just kind of one of those. Most of the stuff that we do is a kind of conversation of trial and error. They'll try something, I'll say, well, let's maybe do it this way, or they'll have an idea and we'll run with it. But
Yeah. Has this informed the way you perform this song? Has the record changed the way you perform it at all?
It has, for sure, because, like I already was talking about with the difference in the dynamic of the verses, we've really tried to kind of come closer to that intimate, performance of the song. When we used to play it, I think it was even a little bit faster than it is.
Really?
Yeah. A little bit faster and just kind of trudging through the whole way.
Yeah.
Again, this was one of the earlier songs, so this was back that not really thinking too much about dynamics back in the day that this was written. So it was cool to revisit this song that was always a fan favorite, but kind of be like, well, how can we really reach people with this so that they're not just caught by the hook, but they're caught by the message, or they feel like they can really relate to it and listen to the material rather than just the hook. A lot of this stuff that we've been listening, or that we've been tracking, that we're going to be releasing soon, has got a lot of kind of upcoming. I like to listen to a lot of upcoming artists because by the time you're learning from the people who have already done it, like that's in the past. It's been done. Unless you're looking back, like way back. So we do like draw inspiration from like Phil Collins and people of the 80s. I feel like we've got a lot of that kind of synth glam atmosphere going on, but then the rock, kind of introduce a little more rock and edge on top of that. So, we listen to people like Ban Camino and Joan and Wildlife, people like that. But oddly enough, and it might just be that the sun is starting to come out, the days are being a little longer, but I've been listening to Bro Country non-stop.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here it goes. I think it's so important to create whatever thing comes to you, like just create it and then figure out how to work it if you need to, or you can give it away, but like just never put a dam on the creativity. It's like always create. So if a song is coming to you and it's outside of something that you normally do, just make it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but you've got to create it.
Right.
It's like,
and
it's
that's
your gift.
That's what it's really all about for me, is I just enjoy the creative process. I enjoy, creating something from nothing.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite part of all of it, is the songwriting and the craft.